So, you've been thinking to yourself, what does a septic system from the 1940s and 1950s look like? Was it just a hole in the ground? Was it just a pipe into the creek? Or like, was it similar to what we see nowadays with a concrete septic tank? Well, sometimes, yeah, sometimes no. But let's dive into it and see what we can find out. So today I wanted to specifically discuss a septic tank that's called a metal septic tank. Metal septic tanks were generally seen between the 1940s and the 1950s. These style of tanks were supposed to be the next new big thing, as many things in the 50s were titled as. The issue that nobody really thought about was metal and water obviously rusts. However, sewer water is very corrosive. The gases that come off of the bacteria as it breaks down the solids, it'll chew through solid concrete like butter. It takes a lot longer, but it will happen. With metal septic tanks in a sewer system, the sewer gas will actually chew up that metal so much that you could literally fall right through it with no effort on your part whatsoever. In Maryland, metal septic tanks are very much illegal and very much dangerous. So you really need to make sure that if you're having a house inspected that's a little bit further out in the country, even close to Baltimore, I've seen it. If it's between the ages of 1940 and 1960, you definitely want to make sure you have somebody who knows what they're looking at come and inspect the septic system to make sure that it's not actually a metal tank. So why would they still exist? Well, most of these metal tanks nowadays have actually already collapsed and been replaced or have been found during a real estate transfer. I do probably, between 2 to 3 inspections a day, 5 to 6 days a week, and I will come across between 1 to 3 metal tanks a year. So they're very, very rare, but they are very fun when you do come across them. When I'm looking for a metal tank, generally the telltale giveaway is the lid, right? So on a normal concrete tank, you're going to have between 2 and 3 lids, depending on the size. Sometimes you'll have a little bit more, but you'll have at least a lid on the front and at least a lid on the back, with usually a manhole-sized lid in the middle. With a metal septic tank, generally, you'll only see the lid on the front, and it'll be a little cutout, usually about 18 inches in square, and then they'll have either cinder block or brick, a riser built up to get it to the surface. I've not found one where there was a lid on the rear, but it also could just be that it's so old that the metal just fused to itself and you can't actually see it. So when you open up the tank, the first thing you're going to notice is the baffle is going to look a little goofy. So a front baffle generally is going to be designed to prevent the solids from stirring up all the mess inside of the tank and allow for good separation of the solids to occur. On a metal septic tank, generally what I will see is either going to be a cast iron sanitary tee, right? Or it's going to be this sheet metal that's kind of bent in a U shape in front of the inlet and the outlet pipe. Inside of the tank, the color will also be wrong. It'll be like an orangish brown with some black on there, depending on if the tank's backed up or not in the past. But generally, it'll be a pill shape, right? So you look inside that hole, the walls will be rounded, and there'll be a slightly orangish color. If you see that, that basically means, yeah, you've got a metal septic tank. The next way to verify is it a metal tank is simply just poke it. Like, if you can, like, I kid you not, you can stick your finger right through some of these walls. I wouldn't do that because you don't want to get cut with, 60, 70-year-old metal that's been covered in poo for the last forever, right? So usually if you just get a screwdriver and you just give it a gentle poke, the screwdriver almost always passes right through it. At which point, yes, you can confirm and verify that it's a metal tank. I have seen tractors, like farm equipment, fall through them. They're not usually super deep, so they're only usually between 3 and 6 foot in diameter in length and width, and then sometimes they're 8 by 4 with usually about 3 feet to 4 feet of water in the tank. Most of them will collapse, and then you end up having to replace it with a modern septic system. These modern tanks generally are about $6,000 to $8,000 nowadays to get them replaced. They are expensive, but they do last for quite a while. So if you have, basically in summary, if you have an older house that you're either looking to buy or looking to sell, it's very important to see, is it a metal septic tank? If it is a metal septic tank, it's a good idea to preemptively get it replaced before it collapses, because once it collapses, now you have to get it dealt with, and you're going to be paying an arm and a leg way more than if you had just preemptively done it on your own time before you have to worry about it collapsing. Additionally, with the collapse, you do run into the concern of, if it collapses and you have sewage going to the surface, and if somebody complains, like a neighbor, to the health department, that can end up being a finable offense. So it's very important to make sure that if that does happen, you get it addressed as quickly as possible to avoid any kind of headaches. I hope you learned a little bit of something today about metal septic tanks. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. I try to reach out to all of the people who comment on my videos to make sure that I answer all questions. If you don't mind, go ahead, hit that like button and subscribe, as I have more videos posted just like this daily. Until next time.